All right, friends, I'm starting a 5-week course. For lack of a better title, we will call Be Brilliant at Playing the Basics, okay? Where did this come from, this idea of sticking to the basics? Well, two things. I was reading a book. At the same time, I got to go hear a jazz concert in town. There aren't too many of those anymore, jazz concerts, but the saxophone player sitting with the quartet was Charlie Owens, and I thought he was magnificent. I just, there was something about his performance. It wasn't over the top. He did not play every card in his hand in every solo he played. They, didn't blast a lot of tricks, although he had some really cool things that he did, right? He used them sparingly, but he served the band. He played with the band. He served the music, the melody, but, we're all expected to go there, right? What he did, and I thought about this for a few days afterwards, what he did was he played, his basic tools were flawless. The basics, he was absolutely flawless at any of the basics that you can think of, right? So that just planted a seed in my head. At the same time, I'm reading a book by John Grisham. Yeah, I know that guy, the one that writes all the books about lawyers, John Grisham, right? But this one's called Bleachers. And it's about a coach, this guy that was influential, this coach. And the coach has something that, I guess a quote, maybe. It's a fictional coach, and it's a fictional quote. But let me read it to you, right? It's stick to the basics and work nonstop until you can execute them perfectly. And I thought, there must be some movement in the heavens here for these things to come together. This marvelous saxophone player who knew his way around the horn. I mean, there was no question that this guy knew his way from top to bottom, inside out, upside down, and was excellent at communicating the basics and playing them. And then this book, this fictional, if you will, football coach, stick to the basics and work nonstop until you can execute them perfectly. There was another guy. I have been following a drummer as well, and so I've got an itchy schnozzle here. It's allergy season here after all this rain that we got in SoCal. So anyway, if I start to sneeze, I'll edit those out. But right. The drummer that I follow, really cool guy. I don't know him personally, but I love his stuff. And he said that practicing, he was able to increase his practice time to 8 hours a day. Nah, that's not going to work for most of you watching. We're hobbyists, or we're looking to play, in a jam or with a group or whatever. But we're not pro-level players yet. And the guy said, once he was able to get his practice time up to 8 hours a day, that he said things that he had thought were impossible or like super hard suddenly became really easy, right? So more time spent with your horn on basic stuff, right? So anyway, that's just these three things just sort of collided in my mind, and I thought, I got to make a series about this. So I've been working with my students and sitting down and asking and just thinking about, my own processes, and I've come up with five basics, right? And if there's any one of these five that maybe isn't working out, that maybe you're really good at 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5. Excuse me again. You still got a car with a flat tire, all right? That's a flat tire. That one basic area that you don't have mastered is going to cause you some problems, right? And you're not going to be able to, move forward as you would like to move forward. Now, with this caveat, all right, I want to say that I've got a friend who plays a jazz pianist, and he plays by himself. He's got this beautiful little baby grand, and he is a Bill Evans fanatic, right? Guy can play Bill Evans chords, and he can sit there and he can, he can play parts of songs, but that's all he wants to do. He doesn't want to go out and play with anybody. He does not know how to improvise. What he did in the beginning was he realized that the beauty of the Bill Evans songbook was something he wanted to internalize and to be able to play on his piano whenever he wanted to. So he hired a couple of teachers, and he said, this is all I want to know. All I want to know are Bill Evans chord voicings. I just wanted to show him, And I presume he knew how to find, middle C and all the notes on the piano and play, basic, piano. But at this stage of the game, this is what he wanted to do. And then he had the American Songbook, and he took that to somebody else and said, I want you to Bill Evans-ize all of these chords, revoice these chords and make them all beautiful. So he's got this big songbook full of things. That makes him happy, okay? And why I'm bringing him up, he's a great guy, by the way, funny guy, and you would all enjoy his company, but we're not going there. The reason I'm bringing him up is that YouTube, and this is coming from a YouTuber, YouTube is a place where you can dial up any hack. I mean, you sign off here after you and just look at some of the saxophone lessons that are, 5 easy ways to play, or 3 easy ways, or here's a hack that, whatever it is. It's about getting something that takes a long time to master, getting there in a sort of a way that involves hacks, like you can cut a lot of corners, right? Like my friend with the piano. He didn't really want to learn how to improvise. He didn't really want to play with anybody else. All he wants to do is amuse himself. He works at home, so he's able to get up, walk into the living room, and sit down on the piano. He lives alone, so he can do it in his underwear. Yee, there's a thought. But he can sit down and he can do that and entertain himself at, say, 2 or 3 in the morning if he wants to. It's his prerogative. And that may be you too. And there's no harm, no foul. All right? If you're happy at the level that you're at and you're playing saxophone, you're getting the enjoyment out of it that you want, and I don't care what that is. All that matters to me is that you're playing right. Beautiful. Then this series, the next 5 weeks, ain't for you. I mean, you can watch, but I mean, it's not for you. This is designed, the next 5 weeks will be about going back to the basics and making sure that you got them, that you're dialed in on the basics, and that these are basic skills that you work on and that you work on through the week. And this, probably would be applied to more of those of you who hope to, blow your horn in public. And it doesn't matter what kind of, jazz combo, blues combo, rock band, pop band, your church band. Maybe you would just love to go and play saxophone in your church band. So many of them have bands now. And they should have saxophones, right? So maybe that's where you want to go with this. And that's okay. That's cool. These lessons apply to any kind of music that you might be playing. Maybe you played polkas on your saxophone. Maybe you played country music on your saxophone. But anyway, we're going to cover the five basics, 1 a week, because, it's stuff to work on. Now, if you have any comments or you have any thoughts about maybe enlarging my list of 5 after you hear it, then I'd love to hear from you. davegoodsax@gmail.com. We can also do Zoom lessons, pending time zone differences. We can do Zoomers if you'd like, or if you're here in Southern California in my neighborhood, we can get together in person, and we can blast our horns, and we can entertain the dogs here. Thankfully, they've been very quiet today. They've been quiet through the whole session. So thank you, dogs. Thank you, dogs. You guys have been awesome. Of course, it's awesome when you bark too. At any rate, enough of the frivolity. Let's get back to work here. So I'll see you next week, and we're going to do one basic, one saxophone basic per week until we've hit all 5, okay? And just, on the way out, parting shot, stick to the basics is what this fictional coach said, and work nonstop until you can execute them perfectly. Yeah, you dig it? I mean, that doesn't mean you have to know, a bunch of really weird scales or whatever new bebop thing or whatever hack is or whatever altissimo thing or whatever blah, 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 blah. You don't have to do that. You got to do the basics. And this fellow, Charlie, was so entertaining. Charlie Owens was so beautiful on that saxophone that I wish that you could have all been there. Finally, the parting shot here is that if you get a chance to get out and listen to live saxophone, oh, the dog is starting to bark. Here we go. Jax, not just yet, okay? If you get a chance, take it, right? It's so different than downloading stuff. I mean, I know we're a download universe, but if you can get out, Jax, give me a break on this, all right? If you can get out, listen to a sax player and just listen to a really good quality sax player fill the room, whatever genre, get out and do it, right? All right, I mean, get out. One of my students in Connecticut got to meet Blue Lou Marini the other night, and Lou is cool, man. And he gave my student some pointers and some ideas and things that he would never have gotten, and he got to hear Lou blow. And that in and of itself, and getting to hear a top-level musician interact with other top-level musicians, that's what it's all about. All right, that's all I got. davegoodsax@gmail.com. See you next week. Saxophone Basic #1. All right, take care.